How you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal, and today we're going to talk about a board game that predates the founding of Nintendo by about 6 years. Yeah. It was created by some British guys that that fought over the rights to say that they created the game. The game itself has its roots in just general strategy and checkers and a bunch of other stuff where the object of the game is to claim more space on the board than the other player, and that's done by taking their pieces. That's, in short, that's what happens. And the game existed for almost 100 years until in 1971, a Japanese guy by the name of Goro Hasegawa modernized the rules set, changed the name of the game, all that stuff, and we got what we got now. The game was originally called Reversi, and now it's known as Othello. Yeah, like the Shakespeare play about the Moor, and and that's what the guy basically envisioned when he modernized everything. The black pieces on the board were modeled after Othello. The white pieces were modeled after Othello's wife, Desdemona. The green squares, the 64 squares that you have to claim, are essentially field of battle. And by and large, while the rules have changed a bit, they're still pretty standard. So if you ever learn the rules of Reversi but never learn the rules of Othello, you can probably get by and pick up the new rule set. I don't know either. I was just renting this. This game was published in the US on the NES in 1988, but it appeared in a bunch of other places. Let's go and get into it real quick. Today, we're going to take a quick look at Othello. Now, Othello is essentially, like I said, you get a 64 tile square, and the game starts out with 4 pieces, 2 black, 2 white, and the object is to claim as much space on the board by the end of the game as possible, until there are no more moves that can be made, or every spot on the board has been claimed. And it's pretty bare bones. Like, you can figure this out without a whole lot of thought, but to get good at it, it takes practice. Much like a lot of other strategy-based board games. And this one is interesting because it was the first arcade thing that Nintendo ever made. Fun fact. It was also one of many of the Nintendo computer TV game things that Nintendo did. They did a lot of Pong clones, but this was one of the ones that wasn't a Pong clone that they did. This game was ported to a bunch of other platforms. The Atari 2600 is apparently a superior version of this game to this, and I can believe it. I've seen the Atari version in action, and it's a lot faster. I've played this one. It's slow. It's kind of stressful, but that's how you get good at a strategy game like this. Just under the stress of play, I guess. But, you know, this is as bare bones as it gets when it comes to a video game. And some things, as far as video games are concerned, they work, but should they work, you know? This is probably better served sitting in front of someone with the actual board in front of you and the pieces and making tangible moves and all that. This was probably a way to just have the game in place without spending a bunch of money on a board or having a bunch of pieces that could get lost, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, this is real bare bones. There's not a lot of music in this game. The gameplay is about as dry as you can make it. But I'm not the target audience for this. Never was, probably will never be. If you like this, if you like Reverse Side, you like Othello, this might be your bag though. So by all means, go and grab you a copy. Now if you decide you want a copy, you can get a copy about $6. There's not a whole lot to really say about it otherwise. This is about as bare bones as you're gonna get as far as a board game. There are other board games that are on the NES that are done with a whole lot more sizzle that will make the experience of playing it on your television a lot more enjoyable than this. This is dry. But hey, what you gonna do? This has been the 8-Bit Animal, and I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow. Tomorrow. Alright, man. Why RoboCop jumping around so much? He didn't do all this jumping and running around when he was helping Sting in WCW, bro.